welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Before we go any further, please remember to subscribe to this channel. We've just made the 100k okay, speaking it into existence. But we've just made the 100 subscriber mark, so it's only the beginning. I believe that there's growth from this, so please do hit the subscribe button and like this video. Also switch on your notifications so you can get notified as soon as I upload a new video. Okay guys, so today I am going to be speaking about self-love journey while you have or you struggle with mental health. My main topic, or what I'm really about, really is mental health awareness. I want to speak about it as much as I can, because in society we are not having that conversation as often and as enough as we should. So for me, I truly believe that it's time for us, especially young people, to have this conversation. And if we're having this conversation, then the older generation will also want to kind of, you know, feed into it. So that's my thing, mental health awareness. So today I'm really going to be speaking about self-love, and you know, the self-love journey, that it is possible, you know, to be on that journey while you are, you know, healing in terms of your mental health. Okay, I think for me, I'll definitely say that I've really struggled a lot throughout my life with this whole concept of self-love. I've always heard about it. I've always kind of, you know, seen people just say, hey, radical self-love, and seeing people really like, you know when somebody's really in love with themselves, you can actually see that this person, you know. But I feel like I've always kind of struggled. I've struggled with that, and dealing with depression and anxiety was not even an easy thing when it came to really like feeding into that energy. So when I grew up, I honestly do believe that like probably my lack or insufficient self-love was maybe even one of the reasons that led to me developing, you know, mental illness or depression, you know, because I could never really, when I grew up I was quite chubby, you know, as a younger kid. I was, you know, quite the chubby bunch, and I could never really look at myself and be so deeply in love with myself. I mean, I was bullied throughout my primary school. In high school it was better because I was in all girl convent school, so it wasn't that terrible, even though, you know, you felt at some point I would feel like I don't look like the other kids, you know, I'm a bit big, you know, I'm just different, I'm not light in complexion. So there were so many things about myself that I would look down upon, and that made it very hard for me to really like love myself. And I think at that young age you don't even have that kind of knowledge of what that really is. I mean, if everyone is going for something that looks a certain way and you look opposite to that, you know, you can just imagine what it can do to a young mind. So I believe that one of the reasons why I also really struggled with this concept of self-love is because of the rejection that I felt, or that I got from my father. You know, my father was never really a part of my life, and finding out how he chose to not be a part of our lives was very difficult for me, because I didn't understand that as a baby, you know, before I was even born. How was it that I was not, you know, enough for him to just want to love me, you know, for him to want to be a part of my life? So I think that really, I always struggled with that how could anybody else love you? How could you love yourself if your own father, I mean the man that was supposed to love you first before anyone else, is rejecting you, is not accepting you? So that really played very harshly on my self-esteem. You know, at some point, I know a lot of people, we say this a lot, and maybe if you've never been in the situation, you can never truly understand what it's like. But you kind of unwillingly so, you kind of develop this void that you constantly feel like needs to be filled, you know, because of this love that was not there, this love that you so desired, you know. I always say that, I think I've also mentioned this in one of my previous videos, that girl children also need that affirmation and validation from their fathers, that hey, you're beautiful, I love you, you know, before you get it from any man. So yeah, I think I really truly struggled with the concept of loving myself, because this man was supposed to love me, who I felt entitled to his love, rejected me. So that really kind of made things even worse. So as time went by, you kind of go through life, you know, wanting to have this void filled. And honestly guys, at the time you don't even see it, and most of the time you don't even see it. I mean, a lot of people engage in so many different behaviors to fill up this void, you know. Some people turn to drugs, alcohol, sex, you know. And the narrative for most young women, or most women in general, is relationships. You know, you kind of go from relationship to relationship, or you meet different people, obviously not at the same time, but you meet people hoping that, you know, they will somehow fill that void that you never got from your father. You know, they will somehow be the ones to give you that love that you never received from your father. And again, I want to stress that it's not even something you do like intentionally, like you're aware that this is happening. I think at some point you just realize that, oh my gosh, I've had this situation, I've had this situation, I've had this situation, and you kind of understand that, oh my goodness, like I'm literally in a pattern, I'm in a cycle, I'm doing the same things, attracting the same kind of people, and the root of that is because of this. So most of the time, guys, don't even get this wrong, most of the time it's not something that people do while they are aware, you know, that I'm doing this, or these are my behaviors. It's something that you only see maybe while you're so deep into it. So for me, that was, you know, that was my story. I mean, in terms of like, now you kind of want people to fill that void, you know, you just want somebody to come and love you and validate you. So there was never ever space for me to love myself. There was never ever space for me to give myself what I want from other people, because I was constantly in pursuit of it, I was constantly in search of it. There was never ever that space. It never clicked in my head, you know. Only after some time, when I sat down and I thought, oh my goodness, you know, I'm at this point and it's time for that radical self-love again. You know, when we preach radical self-love, or just self-love in general, I think people, we always think that it's such an easy thing. It's like a switch, an overnight switch. It is a lot of work, guys. Like, truly, it is a lot of work to really just sit down and say, okay, now that I'm on this journey, I'm going to continue and do this and this and this and that, and be consistent at it. You will fall on this journey. You will have moments where you just feel like it's not even enough, you know. You'll have more, especially when you're dealing with you know, with mental illness. You know, it is even harder then, because you have those days where you just don't even want to get out of bed, where the world just feels like all the walls are closing in, and you're just not even motivated to do anything. Now imagine being in that state and still having to practice the self-love, and still having to, you know, be on this journey of finding yourself. It is hard, guys. I don't even want to paint a perfect picture, guys. Like, it is hard. This journey is so hard, you know, of trying to heal, and going through your journey, and coming up and rising and waking up in the morning. I don't even want to make it a long-term thing, like just waking up in the morning and being motivated to get out of bed. It is hard, and at the same time still having to look at yourself and affirm yourself and validate yourself and remind yourself of how beautiful you are, and how intelligent you are, and how success is on your name. Guys, these are things that I say to myself almost every other day, and even when I say those things, it is still hard. It is still so hard. I think I have days where I just cry because of how hard I think it is. And I think, you know, not everyone is going to understand that. I mean, if you're dealing with or you're battling with mental health, it's difficult. It's a very difficult journey, but I want to remind you guys that it is possible. And I think I'm saying it to you, but I'm saying it more to myself, that it is possible, you know, that you will rise up, and that you will overcome, and that you will defeat. We will overcome, we will defeat, guys. Someone commented on one of my videos that, you know, God is using me as a vessel, and I think I'm starting to understand that now, because not a lot of people want to have this conversation, which is such a shame, guys. The struggle is real, but even in that, we are pushing, you know. As long as we keep waking up every day, we are pushing, and we're gonna get there. So yeah, in terms of, you know, bringing it back to self-love, I think for me, where I really knew that I needed to, because there's a time where I lost weight, 2014 to 2015, I lost so much weight, guys. And you would think that after lose that weight, I lost about 43 kilograms. So you would think that after losing so much weight, I would be like on top of the moon. I would love myself. I got to a point where, guys, at my highest I was 106 kilograms, and at my lowest I was 63. But because I'm very tall, I looked very skinny at that 63 kilograms that I was at, you know. So and at that point, somehow it got to a point where I was like, you know, I need to lose more. I need to lose 10 more. And I was very skinny. You know, I should actually do a story time on this. I will definitely do my weight loss journey story time. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that because I thought self-love, at some point I really thought self-love was also attributed to the external things, how I look, you know. It kind of failed, because even when I was where I thought I'd be happy, you know, and be happy with myself, I wasn't when I got to that stage, you know. So that was another thing to show me that, you know what, this thing that everybody says, self-love, 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 it's more of an internal thing. It's actually what is coming from within. Yes, it's important to take care of yourself and look good, you know, but it really is more internal than anything. So I think when I discovered that, when I saw how unhappy I was even after losing all of that weight, when I came to that realization, I'm like, okay, you know, that kind of clicked for me, that okay, this thing that everybody says, self-love, 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 it really is an internal thing. You know, it's not about who loves you, it's not about your works, your achievements, your whatever. It really is about how you see yourself from the inside. You know, I know it's a cliche, everybody says it all the time, but it really is about how do you see yourself inside, how do you feel about yourself, how good do you feel about yourself. So I think that's when I knew that okay, you know, that's where my journey to self-love really began, when I understood that it wasn't about how I look, it's really more about what is inside. So another thing that I've learned on the self-love journey of mine is the importance of actually putting yourself first. That's something I've always struggled with. I think I've always kind of overexerted myself. I've always sort of given so much of myself to other people, which is not a bad thing. It's only bad when you have nothing left to give to yourself, you know. So I've always wanted to give to other people, and I was actually saying to someone that to some degree I feel that it was a way of me trying to earn that person's love, you know, no matter who they were. When I did things, or when I went out of my way to make you happy or give you something, I think somewhere at the back of my mind it was really you know, can this person love me more? You know, if they want to walk out on me tomorrow, won't this, you know, or won't the fact that I'm able to make them happy be enough to make them stay? Which is not okay, guys, you know. It's really not okay. So I think I've really learned to, before I give to others, what can I give to myself? How can I fill myself? How can I be a filled cup? I think I learned how to really put myself first, or I'm learning, you know, it's an ongoing process, because I'm making these observations as I go, that, you know what, I need to learn to put myself first. So yeah, I think, you know what, those are some of the things that I've really learned on my journey. I know it's not a lot, and maybe it's not enough to go light bulb moment but I really do hope that it's something that can help someone who is struggling like me, who's had challenges like I've had in terms of, you know, dealing with your mental health, but also at the same time trying to love yourself more, you know, trying to fool yourself more. It's hard, but you do need to kind of fool yourself in all spheres, you know. So yeah, I really do hope that even though it's not the light bulb moment but it is insightful, and it has given you something to think about, has given you something to feed upon. So yes, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I know my videos are still a bit too long. I will work on it. It's just that when I get so passionate about something, I just want to overflow. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe right now. Comments as well. I'm very excited to hear your comments. And yeah, we will see each other on the next video. Bye.